Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick video on my battle belt / war belt. Couldn't find a whole lot of information or videos on YouTube on this particular belt. This is the High Speed Gear Duty Grip, which has 32 slots cut into it, so it's really modular. You can set it up pretty much however you want. So the inner belt is the duty grip, which has the neoprene on the back, and then the slots cut in it. And then my inner belt is high speed gear as well. It's the Cobra rigger belt with no D-ring, and it's got the Velcro liner on the inside around the whole belt as well. So you could set it up, and with anything that you have Velcro will lock into place, which is kind of how I set my mags up. I'll show you that in a minute. So that's the Cobra. High Speed Gear, let's see, this is a large inner belt. High Speed Gear recommends that with this duty grip belt that you buy a belt that's one size bigger. So I have a large inner belt, but I bought the 2XL, which you can see I've got a little left over there. Probably I could have got away with an extra large, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough belt. I'd rather have too much belt than not enough. So I got the double XL, which was a little large, but it's working just fine. I still have adjustment. I can still cinch it up closer and take some more slack out of it if need be. But this is working just fine. So a large inner belt, 2XL outer belt, and then a large inner belt. So moving on to my magazine pouches. These are Blade Tech, all three of these. And the reason I got this belt is because I wanted some modularity. I already had these magazine pouches, and I didn't want to spend another $90 or whatever for the high speed gear tacos. I like these because there's more mag exposed. It's easier to get a purchase on these versus the tacos. They sit a lot deeper, so I prefer these. I've been running these for a couple 2-3 years and really like them. So my Edc belt is 1 3/4 as well. So before I bought this belt, I was running everything on my Edc belt and got tired of weaving my holster and mags and all that through my Edc belt and having to take everything off and weave it through. So I wanted this belt where I could just throw it on over my existing belt, my pants, my shirt, throw it all together and be ready to go in just a matter of a few seconds. So this is why I ended up getting this belt. Saves a lot of time. So with these mag pouches, what I did, this is the Tech Lock, and this is again, this is Blade Tech. So it has this Tech Lock, and you can see it's got this divider here which comes with it, and you can see under there has all these little slots, and you can move this up and down depending on the size of your belt. So without this will fit up to a 2-inch belt. Being 1 3/4, I just threw this spacer in, and then my belt fits in there perfect with no slop. But what I did is I added a little rigidity to it. I put some loop in there with the sticky back loop on the inside that mates with the loop. I have the hook, and then it mates with the loop that's on the inside of the belt. So this, once they're mated up, it's pretty solid. But you lock it, and then you cinch the lock down there, and this thing is not going anywhere. When you buy these, the Tech Lock is actually on the bottom, but I found it kind of difficult to reach down and pinch those tabs together and undo the lock and it was just kind of cumbersome. So what I did is I took these 2 screws out and I just turned the tech lock around upside down. So now the lock and the clasp are on top. It's just easier to reach. If for whatever reason I need to take this off, I can do it without having to fiddle around underneath. And then you can undo these screws and you can move this right or left, up and down. So it gives you some modularity of where you place it on your belt. For me, it's just standard. So you clasp that together, lock it, and again, that's not going anywhere. So all 3 of these are set up the same way. Velcro on these as well. And you can see they're not going anywhere. You can see on this one, I moved it over to help move these a little closer together so they're not so far apart. So I unscrewed it and moved the mag pouch over. It's working just fine. So you can see I weaved around this one to kind of just help hold this in place. And then I wove the belt around behind both of these. So you can see there the laser grip, the laser cut slots. So again, there's 32 of them all the way around the belt. So you can literally weave this anywhere you want. With these 2, it didn't fall in between a slot here. So if these, I could move them over, but I like the position where they're at on my belt. So I could weave the belt back through and put one in the middle, which would separate these and it would hold them in place even more. But this is fine. You can see it's just this portion is, there's nothing behind it other than just the belt. So moving around to my 4 o'clock position on the left side, I wove the belt back through, and this is the Maxpedition Roly-Poly 204, I think it is, B for black, and then they have all the other colors, but I just went black everything. Excuse me. And so this is their medium pouch. Opens up, and you can take this flap, and there's Velcro down in here, kind of hard to see, which holds this flap together or down so it's not in the way. And then that opens up, and this is made of like 1,000 coat Cordura, pretty rigid, pretty stiff, should last a long time. It's waterproof and resistant, so it's everything I need. Maxpedition says you can fit up to 7 AR mags in here. So I run a couple classes a year and train at my range. So I got a dump pouch just so I don't have to pick up mags all the time, or I can throw loaded mags in there and they're just fine. They might move around, but no big deal. And there's also two cinch cord. You can cinch this together and close up the top, which will help, stuff from falling out. So this is on the back side. I just wove my belt through it. I think there's some MOLLE attachments on the back side of this if you wanted to, get your MOLLE and run it, that attachment. But otherwise, it will go right. The belt will go right through it, and it's pretty solid. So moving around to the back, I just wove it back out, and then coming over here, this is High Speed Gear. This is their bleeder blowout pouch, which is MOLLE, which works on this belt just fine. You can see it fit the way I wove it. It fits the 1 3/4 belt nice and solid. So I wove the MOLLE behind the belt and then back through, and then the clasp here, and it holds it all nice and rigid. And then what I did is I took one of those slots. It's kind of hard to see, but I ran a slot down the center with the molly on each side of one of those laser cut, so it doesn't move right or left, or up and down. Things rock solid. All this stuff is, man, this is a great belt. So moving over to my blowout kit, I just have one tourniquet, and then back here there's a little slot where you can run your shears. They just tuck right down in there, and then you just close it up and snap it together, and they're not going anywhere. They're not going to fall out, you know, running around. If I can get it closed. And then opening this, what I have in here is 2 hyphen chest seals. I've got Israeli bandage and some Z-fold gauze, a pair of gloves, and duct tape, and a Sharpie. I mean, if in the event I ever have to use this, want to write the time down, so you know, they know what time it was put on, and that all works just fine. Grab my gloves here. And so I just stuffed all that in here. And this this is like a seat belt material. What you do is you pull this hook and all the contents come out. And so you just stuff in, you know, just stuff whatever you need in there, or whatever fits your mission, or whatever the case may be. This also here comes Velcro, so you can use the Velcro on the lid. You could close it down and use the Velcro that way and keep it closed, but I just left that alone and just used the buckle, and it's all nice and secure, and things rock solid. So moving over here to my holster on my right side, I wove the belt back through, and you can, like I said, you can, you can weave this through to fit any configuration, or, you know, any holster that works for you, or whatever your favorite holster is. For me, this is the Optimal Drop RTI, and then this is a T-Rex Arms Ragnarok for my CZ P10C. So over here, you just pinch these 2 tabs together, and it unlocks, and then you push up, and you can see where it mates with the RTI. And then all you do is you put it back in, push down, and then over here on the front, it locks. This thing is rock solid as well. Love G-Code. I've got a bunch of EDC stuff. I've got their new Phenom holster for inside the waistband, and I've got an NCOG, and, you know, mag holders and all kinds of stuff. G-Code makes great stuff, so I wanted to utilize that, because all my holsters, all I have to do is buy a holster with the RTI on it, and then I can use, I've got this for, I've got one for my Glock, one for my VP9, this one for the CZ P10C. So whatever mood I'm in, I can switch them out, and I don't have to do anything but just switch out my holster, and then it locks in place, and I'm good to go. So moving up to the front, I just I bought these. I think I got a pack of 4. It's got this HK style clasp, and I bought a pack of 4 for $9 on eBay. And these are my 511 Tech A2 gloves. Pretty nice gloves. They're stretchy, they're comfortable. The knuckles are reinforced, and then they have some reinforcement on the palms, and nothing on the fingers, which is nice. I don't like anything on the fingers. Less material, the better. So I can, you know, get better trigger manipulation. But other than that, they're really nice. I've used them a little bit, but not all the time. But they're there now. They just stay on my belt. If I ever need them, they're there. And then moving around to the front here, I've got some Velcro at local store somewhere. I can't remember where I got it, and just cut it to length. And then I cinched up the belt, all that extra, and just made a keeper just to keep all that extra material out of the way so it's not flapping around. So that is my Untitled Belt setup. High-speed gear. Oops. Sorry about that. High-speed gear makes this belt in two versions. This version without molly. And then the other version has a small section that's roughly about that size. That is molly. So for the pouches that have the molly, you could actually run it through the back in that portion of the belt, but then everything else is identical. So I went with this because I don't have anything molly. So I didn't need it. I didn't need any molly attachments. And other than this, which I just got, the bleeder blowout kit is the only molly attachment that I have, but the way I have it set up is working well on the belt, so no need to change it. So that's my whole setup there. So thanks for watching. Thanks.